In the last video, I talked about my first rental property and having my memory as my system. It worked great until it didn't. The moment my friend Alex did not pay his rent on time, my whole system fell apart. I was left with a choice either to let it go and potentially lose out on money, have to scramble to find money from somewhere else to pay for the expenses that will have to continue to be paid as a rental owner, or chase my friend and risk damaging our relationship. Neither of those options feel good. So, in this video, I will be walking through the first major upgrade to my system and why I learned that a good system isn't just about what you do, but about what you plan for. If you remember that I have a one bedroom apartment and I have Alex as my tenant. Initially, I was purely relying on handshake and verbal agreement between him and I. I had a system which I called I handle things as they come. After that first late payment, I know I couldn't just rely on a handshake anymore. The first big change I made was to introduce a formal contract after I experienced the late payment and property damage, which resulted in awkward conversation between Alex and I. This contract agreement was not a complex legal document. It was just a simple piece of paper that we both signed. It had some basic information such as due date, which states the clear rent amount and the due date, which is the first of every month, grace period in case Alex needs a few days to pay without a penalty, and if the payment does come late, what is a fair fee that Alex must pay, not to punish him, but to create a clear consequence that was not emotional like before. It made the system, which is the contract, handle the problem instead of me. We can always point to this piece of paper to facilitate the conversation. With the new process that is simple, if the rent was not paid by the grace period, the late fee automatically applied. No awkward conversations, no chasing, and the contract did the talking for me. A similar issue happened during his time at my rental property where his dog had chewed on the corner of the door frame. It was a minor fix. Without the contract, I would have to have that conversation of who's supposed to be responsible for this. An apology is good, but at the end of the day, it needs to be fixed in order for it to be marketable for the next tenant. Without the system, We had to have another uncomfortable conversation about who was gonna pay. If we couldn't agree on a price, I ended up having to pay for the repair myself, which could result in me going negative. By having another element in a contract for security deposit, this would allow me to anticipate and have a backup to cover any damages or unpaid rent. It serves as an insurance for my property and a safety net for our relationship. The big key takeaway here is a good system isn't just about what you do in the good times, but when things go wrong, we have a process to fall back to. Just to recap, that a system consists of three elements: people, process, and tools. I was still the only person running the system, but I brought in the contract which serves as the tool, and with it comes new processes such as having to have these contract conversations in details, having the contract signed, having a process for when late payment happens, how many days is the grace period, the process to actually get this late payment from Alex. If there is a damage previously, we might not know until the very end, and we had to have that awkward conversation. But now we can have a process where we talk about the damage and making sure that the tenant, Alex, is responsible to pay for the fix with our approval. So far, the system is still very simple. Other than having this contract, everything still relies on my memory. I only have to deal with one tenant in one bedroom. But what if I decided to buy the entire floor of three units, where I will go from having only one tenant to three? My memory may not hold up, and I may need to further adjust my system. In the next video, I will show how my business grows and why my system had to grow with it.